Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Hello, and here we go. Happy Monday. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. What's up, everybody? I think, if I heard my daughter right, she might come in tomorrow to hang out with Cheyenne to recap their trip to Mexico.
I do want to get the details on that frog.
Yeah,
Did she give him consent before he accosted them boobies?
I was, a little odd. I mean, hey, look, I know you're at Senior Frogs in, where did she go in Mexico?
Cancun.
Cancun, yeah. I know you're in Cancun, but...
But still, I mean, if you're not expecting to get felt up by a mascot frog...
Do we know what we don't know what happened, though. We have no idea.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, if you're watching KVJ TV, you can see there's a Senior Frog groping my daughter's friend's breast, and then he motorboats her.
Because I did see Cheyenne on another video grope a guy's dong at one point.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, she's definitely, she'll see your hashtag Me Too and raise you a level.
Yeah.
Did she finger the frog?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I did see the frog jump up.
So
The frog just gave her what she gave him first.
right. So yeah, I don't think it's probably a major issue, but
Can we get the frog on tomorrow?
yeah, I would like to talk to Senior Frog.
Is he available for comment, or has he gone into hid?
I don't think he's hiding. I think to Kevin's point, I'm not sure the hashtag Me Too message got down there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's did they even have that in Mexico? Do
I don't
they
know.
observe it?
Not with that frog.
Yeah. And don't they just kind of like put Senior Frogs at every big old touristy type of place?
I
Yeah.
was going to say that's a major chain, right?
I think it is, right? I've heard of people getting off the cruise ship and going to Senior Frogs.
But is it just
Yeah.
a Mexico thing, or do you find that?
No, I went to one in Nassau. They have one there in the Bahamas. I've been to that one. And yeah, looking at where they put them, a lot of it is these tropical kind of destinations. Like I'm looking where Caitlin is, and they've got a ton of Senior Frogs, actually.
Is it kind
A
of
ton?
Yeah, I'm looking at them. There is, I can see right now, it looks like about 5. There's a Senior Frogs official store. Okay, so they got that Senior Frogs Cancun. They've got an outlet store, so I guess that's what I'm seeing. And a Senior Frogs outlet is right there. You've also got them, it looks like, yeah, not only Cancun, but then you got, looks like maybe Puerto Rico.
So is it like the Benihanas of bars, kind of? If you're a tourist, you go there.
I
and
think it's just we're drinking sugary booze and, we're trying to make sure we don't get date raped. I think is basically what Senior Frogs is. It's just really that kind of really crazy, wild atmosphere. They all kind of, in a sense, freak me out for that reason, because you've got a lot of really young girls in their 20s that are drinking drinks in an area that they're not from. And then you've got a lot of locals. And when I see an atmosphere like that, it's just there's so many people that realize they can take advantage of tourists.
Well, the other thing, too, is not everyone's hashtag be cool. When you got all that drinking, some people just can't fucking contain their crazy.
Yeah. They're in Panama City. They've got a few in like the Tampa Bay area. There's... or not, Senior Tequila.
They got food at old Senior Frogs, or just a drinking establishment?
Yeah, I think
she's
they have
eating,
food, like I said.
she's eating nachos.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when I went to the one in Nassau, it looked like they had that. So, and there are a lot of them in Mexico. So on the West Coast too, looks like they've got several Senior Frogs that are up and down the West Coast.
So when you go get food, Mexican food in Mexico, you really everywhere you go should be authentic, correct or no?
Oh, definitely, right?
Well, I mean, it should, but, keep in mind there's a lot of touristy areas, so they're going to cater to the tourists. I think it just depends upon, where you go.
But if you're going to just a regular, not a Senior Frogs, you go to a Mexican restaurant in Mexico, you're probably getting the good shit.
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, if you go to Mexico and you find bad Mexican, what the hell?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you can go there and get improperly prepared food. There's crappy food everywhere.
Yeah, we have American food here. There's American cuisine, and there's plenty of shitty American cuisine.
Sure.
So I'm sure there's shitty Mexican food in Mexico,
right?
Even if it is authentic.
Michael in the chat room said, Senior Frogs is where you go to get roofied on vacation. And honestly, that's my impression of it, too. That's why I'm nervous that I've got a 24-year-old daughter that's hanging out at Senior Frogs with a guy that looks like a young Pablo Escobar that's dropping $3,000 for a table. But that's my whole thing. I've been nervous the whole time.
Yeah,
though.
where is that guy? Did that guy come sniffing around after Senior Frogs?
A guy like that.
I think he was before, but I don't know where he is right now in the mix.
If he's dropping $3,000, he's trying to sniff something.
Yeah, I just how right. I mean, guys that are dropping money, they want something, and
There's
you just
something,
know.
right?
As a dad, you just know they're up to no good.
Well, he's the guy. If he's a local, he's probably seeing these chicks here that want to party.
Yeah,
and he's not doing it because he's Mother Teresa.
Right. There's the photo of all of them, and so my daughter had sent that photo on Friday or Saturday.
Oh boy, they were with him a lot.
Yeah, it was 2 days. I was just I don't like this.
And he's from Mexico or he's from the U.S.?
I don't know. I think he's from Mexico. I'm not sure what his deal was. I'm not sure if he's there or he's a local or he's a tourist.
Your daddy radar is right to be up.
And the Queen was on it too because she saw the photo and the Queen's like, who's the guy?
Who the F is this clown?
And Caitlin texts back, my new love, and the Queen texts back, gross.
Gross.
And Caitlin says he's cute. He bought us a table today and yesterday.
Oh boy.
And then I did my own dad dissuading, and I text back, I'm like, this him, and I sent the early mugshot of Pablo Escobar.
Was the $3,000 at Senior Frogs or at a different place?
I think it was a different place.
Different, yeah. It was a cooler club. Senior Frogs is not cool.
Is that going to?
You go to Senior Frogs in the daytime, and you go to do shots and say you did it. But I can't see Senior Frogs being the hip spot for night life.
It's like we go to Chili's. All right, guys, $4,000 table.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, I think this is one of the clubs where they were. It's like a day club, indoor, outdoor.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of thing there, yeah, if you're watching KVJ.
That is a badass club.
But it's so much cool. It's cool overload. It starts to repel the cool.
Woods over here couldn't handle it. He'd rather go to the woods and go walking around caves and just be chill.
You're fucking right, man.
Woods would not like the frog.
It's not that I don't like it. It's so much cool. No, you don't see it. It's just so cool.
He'd be overwhelmed and be like, I'm out.
Here's a video of one of the other clubs where they were too. So it just, it's whatever.
It's woohoo.
It's just,
woohoo.
It's very woohoo. We're in a different country. There's a lot of drinking going on. You don't know where you are. Dad's heard a lot of stories. It's the kind of stuff that just unnerves you the entire. So, I mean, I've been on edge for 5 days.
I just want to know she's back on the plane. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah.
It just makes me nervous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's back, I think, tonight at 7. So maybe and come in tomorrow. We can find out what was going on with Senior Frog there.
I would rather have Virginia kick me in the taint 3 times than to go to that fucking bar right there.
Oh, yeah, no. It's way too much. It's a young person's game.
When you look at your bill from that bar, you feel like you've been kicked in the taint.
But I don't want people thinking I don't like going out to bars because I do. But I'm more on the Kevin Ralston kind of a I like a dive bar. I like a bar that's kind of shitty. But
That bar is 3 levels with lights and all kinds of stuff going off.
It's too fucking much.
That bar is popping off.
It's like a Cheesecake Factory menu, just too much.
Right, yeah. Ryan said that's where the episode of Dateline about your disappearance begins.
Yeah.
It is. It's very, everything that I'm seeing is all, you're right. It's a Dateline special.
It started
All of
off with a great.
They interview the bouncer who remembers seeing you come in the club but doesn't remember seeing you leave.
Yeah,
And there's like closed caption TV footage of you coming in all happy.
It was a night of celebration.
Everything you would see.
Or was it a celebration?
It was a night of celebration.
People were partying, having fun,
Or were they?
Yeah.
Someone in the room had a diabolical plan.
Anna said she's probably at Coco Bongos. Yeah, I think she said that. I think that's where one of the clubs was. So if you know Cancun at all, yeah, I think that was the one she went to.
I'm going to Cocaine Bongo.
Yeah, that's exactly
Just
what
they've all got them. Yeah, it does. It's just
Sign me
all-
up.
Coco, right next to the heroin hideaway.
Mexican cocaine. What could go wrong?
It just all feels like we're going to ply you with excessive amounts of sugary alcohol. We're going to spin you around, confuse you. We're going to find ways to take your money and maybe worse.
We're gonna let this frog feel you up.
Right.
And the frog is holding. If you want drugs, the frog's got them.
It's just a weird dance, you know?
It is.
It's a weird dance.
I
the
just
whole
don't
thing.
like it that there's no grown-ups either. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I know she is a grown-up, but she's still like young. I don't know.
24, yeah. I don't know when, and maybe you never do, because I think my mom always was on edge when I was 44 and I was out. So
That's what it is, maybe.
Yeah.
Even when they're, I worry about Caitlin, and she's 24. She is an adult.
Well, I think it's normal to worry about your loved ones. I don't
Yeah.
like it if I find out someone's driving across the country in my family. It's you worry about your loved ones.
We just watch too much Dateline. I see too many stories about human trafficking. Oh, it's all over TikTok.
My dad loves murder special. When my mom was alive, I would walk in the house, and that was romantic time. They'd be watching murder special together,
Okay.
and me and my dad watched a fuck ton over the weekend. So yeah, and it was about traveling and people following them.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it usually happens. You're out of your elements. You don't know where you are, and you're trusting somebody else. It is. I mean, no matter where you are on planet Earth. I remember we were in Jerusalem, and we were trying to find our way. We were in some of the street markets that are there. And we had this guy. It's like, hey, I'll show you a shortcut. Here's where you go. And the guy led us up some stairs and all this kind of stuff. And then,
like, where the hell am I?
then boom, he's like, okay, here, you just take a right there. And he wanted like $20 and shook us down and then just took off. And he led us right into the middle of the Muslim area.
Oh.
Which they're just, it's very tight and weird there. I mean, there's a story where somebody shot into a tour bus in
Right.
Jerusalem. So
because you
it's-
don't know what area likes you and what area doesn't.
they even say there's like you need to watch if you're a Christian being on the Muslim side after night, because there's stabbings and a lot of stuff that often happens. And so
boy.
that's what happened to us. And I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, because people in my group are like, okay, we're dead.
The Mexican queen would take a stabbing well. She would actually turn it around.
It'd take a lot to get her down, yeah.
Kevin, you wouldn't walk away from a stabbing.
No, they know it too.
You'd be stabbed and done.
That's how I felt in Logan. Don't you say somebody's a Michigan fan up there. They'll fuck you.
right.
They'll fucking stick you.
That's right. That's just traveling internationally. So.
Traveling it's stressful. It's tiring
Yeah,
too.
it is. Yeah, especially when you have people that are trying every single way to remove you from your money and your life.
What time does Caitlin get back on the plane today? Do you know?
I think she's back at 7. I think
Okay.
Kim had said. So I don't know what time she gets on the plane or whatever, but hopefully the fun is over and they just got to get home. So.
But let me take you to my hometown village before you leave,
Right,
Caitlin.
bring it on the plane, yes.
If that guy comes back to the resort and says, "Hey, I'll drive you guys to the airport," they should say no. They're going to get their own ride to the airport.
They ain't gonna listen to your old asses.
Luckily, and I'm hoping, yes, I'm hoping it would. And the Mexican queen has plied Caitlin with with a lifetime of don't trust people. So, she is pretty tough, and she can rear up. She's got a good bit of her mama in her. So part of that, I feel better. But
You always hear these stories of the people that do get away from certain situations, and it's always the part where they're in the car, and the person that's the murderer, they always they drive past where they're supposed to go, and then there's that sinking feeling.
You passed my turn.
Yeah, we're not going that way.
Yep.
What do you mean by that?
We're going to Murder Lane.
That feeling of, oh, fuck, I don't think he's taking me to my destination. It's got to be the most surreal feeling when you're going, oh, shit, man, he's taking me out to a field.
It's got to be like the most horrifying moment of realization. Like, I fucked up. I got in the wrong car.
Yep.
I trusted the wrong person. I didn't listen to my mom or my dad or whatever.
Yeah. No, you're right. That happens. And, you know, I'm honestly probably the worst. I mean, I was just telling you the Israel story. I mean, when I was in Jamaica, it wasn't any better. I had that guy that gave me that weed. I smoked it, never smoked weed. I'm so freaking high. Next thing you know, he's driving us around in his personal car.
I think back and some of the...
I'm up in the mountains of Jamaica, and they walk me through this thing where you had to buy at every stop. I bought a reed hat, somebody's homemade Jamaican R&B album.
And then a shirt. Hey, guys, I'm from Florida.
Yeah. And then they took pictures with me and be like, what a dumbass sucker. I'm so stoned in this photo with a reed hat on, and I'm holding Jamaican R&B's greatest hits.
The name of the album is called Sucker.
Yeah, Sucker. So yeah, I'm the worst. I mean, I'm not throwing any stones
But
here.
it's what you do when you're young. You know, when you're young, you think you're invincible. You don't think about like all of the bad consequences. You just don't. You're having fun.
I was thinking about some of the shit. I mean, I got into so many shady cars of people I did not know when I first started drinking and partying.
Yeah.
And looking back, there was some fucking shady people involved that could have rolled me or killed me or stabbed me.
Yeah, no doubt. That's really it. I mean, you know, there are wolves out there, and you are the sheep. And that's it.
The stories I like to hear is when somebody thinks they're being all cool and I'm gonna try to kidnap this person, and they go against a bigger fish and they get their ass kicked. I fucking like hearing that.
Me too.
That does happen every now and then.
I feel like if they try to get Cheyenne's gonna flip it on them.
Well, she gotta go quiet at least.
No.
They may get her,
That's
but she's not gonna go quiet.
She's gonna leave a mark on whoever tries to grab her. So,
But she's off her
Yeah.
game a lot because she drinks heavy.
true.
So that's where they'll get you.
They'll spin her around.
Yeah, but she legit would be hard to kidnap.
I agree.
She's a handful.
We've seen her. We've seen her
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
I've seen her tackle a many bushes.
Yeah.
I mean, Pete Rose head first dive into bushes.
She is an epic fountain diver.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing
She has
to watch
to
her
have
work.
She has to have drunk injuries. There's no way
Oh, yeah.
her body feels
No.
great from sick. I know because I've done
She
it.
probably has CTE.
Definitely.
This is an interesting listen, and Jaybird had checked it out as well. And it popped up on my YouTube, Bam Margera, and I've run into no less than 3 people that either ran into him. One person works at where he was at for rehab, and was talking about that with me. And I know he popped up all over. We had probably 5 photos people had taken with Bam Margera when he was supposed to be in rehab in Delray, and he got out and he went to El Camino, and then he was at a skate park in Jupiter, and he was all over the Ave.
He was basically on tour without any tour dates announced.
He was super, super close to getting in this movie. Mm-hmm. And he missed a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and so they kind of broke it down. This is Steve-O's podcast, and it was recorded a little bit ago, but he has Bam Margera on there, and doesn't really cut him any slack, but they do talk about why Bam Margera wasn't in Jackass 4, and then the ongoing problems that Bam has had and what his addictions have cost him in his life. Here is that podcast with Steve-O and Bam Margera.
Hey everybody, and welcome to an explosive wild ride with Steve-O. This is the first that anybody has heard from my dear friend Bam Margera in quite some time. So dude, let's just come out and say it, that us having this conversation is fucking explosive, like almost radioactive. Some people, I mean, like the interest in people hearing from you, people seeing us together is off the charts. And,
I did a year of alcohol treatment, and I actually have never felt better. I actually didn't realize I had such a problem that I did. And
do? That's a distinction that we need to be clear about.
Yeah, I guess do.
Yeah.
because Novak said, dude, if you just do a year, you'll understand how much better you will feel. Because you always go 30 to 60 days, maybe 90 tops. But if you just do a year, you'll understand. And I call him up after a year. I'm like, Novak, I understand. I get it. I feel great now. You know, I do not want that lifestyle. I got a 4-year-old. I don't miss the hangovers whatsoever. And I just don't want to return to that anymore.
Was it hard to admit that you had a problem, or was there?
I think so, because because I wasn't like going out and being I wasn't going out to bars, and I wasn't being a mess. So the fact that I learned how to control behaving myself but still being wasted, I felt like I had an excuse to say I'm better than I was.
So that's a little bit what he was saying there. But I think the whole thing is he was going out when he was here. So I don't know what the timeline is, because Steve
He
even
could have been
said,
going out and not drinking. It's still possible to go out and not drink.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, did people see him actually physically drinking? I know we had lots of selfies.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes no one's going to know the truth but Bam, so whether he's drinking or not.
And the one thing that Wooden Stash Dave said too, and I was watching, you saw the visual, he says he sounded wasted there, and I couldn't tell, but yeah, there was a part of it. I don't know. I mean, if you've done enough of something, do you just kind of...
Well, keep in mind, too, that there's a lot of ways someone can catch a buzz, and there's a lot of ways someone can be slurring their words. Maybe he is on prescription medication and a doctor gave it to. When people have it under a doctor's care, they don't feel like they need to tell anybody. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
Right.
it's legit at that
I'm
point.
sober. I'm just on all these pills.
But the bottom line is, if you are taking Xanax and stuff, even if it's under a doctor care,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call you sober completely.
No.
True, yeah, and that is an interesting
But
distinction.
I don't know
where a
if
lot of
that's what's
people will,
going
yeah.
on. I don't know if that's what's happening.
And Lefty in the chat said, yeah, when you've been an alcoholic for a long time, you end up sounding drunk all the time. That's interesting. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true for everybody, though.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, some people are detecting it in Bam's voice.
Can you help enlighten us as to what period you're referring to when you were able to control being?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, those days are so long gone, Bam. Like, you
Yeah.
didn't control shit.
Well, I've tried every which method. I'm like, all right, I'm only going to sip on White Claws from now on.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, all right, I'm only going to sip whiskey just every so once in a while. That didn't work out. All right, I'm just going to do white wine during dinner. You know, that didn't work. Like,
Sure.
I've tried it all, and I figured out that it just always turns into one glass, turns into two, then it turns into a bottle, turns into two bottles, then I'm out looking for booger sugar.
Even though I don't think you choose to believe it, the fact is that the whole you getting your contract canceled or whatever you want to call it, kicked out of Jackass 4 was genuinely the same as me getting an intervention from Johnny Knoxville. You know, like the same
I know,
people.
but I got so much to say. Like in Jackass 2, I got drunk at the LAX airport with brass knuckles. I got a fucking felony charge, and I got high five for good press. Now I wind up sipping on a beer out front of a hotel on TMZ, and I get kicked out for being a liability. It's just fucking ridiculous.
I'll entertain some of that. And back in the days of Jackass number 2, we were in our heyday, we were at our worst. Drugs and alcohol were still working for us. Nobody was getting locked up in rehab or jail or like just, you know, having public meltdowns. And I hope that you can understand that at a certain point, like specifically over the last few years, that it stopped being fun. It stopped being funny. It stopped being cool. It stopped being something that we want to give you a high five for, because we've been watching you self-destruct.
I think what he's saying is they, in a sense, encouraged the monster and built the monster, and then they no longer wanted the monster, and then it penalized them.
Well, what happens is everyone's, it's the same old tale. Everyone's getting fucked up. Everyone's partying. Everyone's having a good time. But then the party starts to get not fun. It's not everyone can. You can't sustain a party lifestyle and have shit go right in your life, especially if you got a group of people who are doing drugs and alcohol. You just can't. You can't sustain that kind of lifestyle without shit blowing up in your face. And what they're saying is, dude, we all partied, we all had a good time, but we were getting sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
We're getting sick and tired of the whole thing. It wasn't funny collectively as the group, because collectively the group couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
And people are picking up on it, saying he sounds very resentful. He is very resentful.
Oh yeah, he is resentful
about this. And I think that's why he's like, I was getting you publicity. You loved all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden you do me like this.
Well, you got it. This is something that it's not just these two people, just a group of guys that worked in an office together. They were boys. They were friends. There's going to be shit that we don't even know about, that they're all going to be calling each other out.
But when the group evolves, you either evolve with the group or you don't. And I think that's the difference. I think a lot of those guys evolved.
They did.
They want to survive. They don't want to be dead. You can't keep going at the original Jackass speed when you're 40, 50 years old. You just can't. And I think guys like Bam maybe still want to go like a maniac and can't understand why everybody else is growing up.
Not everybody can hit the brakes. Some people have the brakes, and he just drove through the wall.
And some people are just better to be around when they're drinking, and some people just can't handle a lot of shit in their body. They turn into an asshole.
Bam does have a little bit more to say on that.
I will say specifically Tremaine and Knoxville saved my life by enforcing some consequences. Like if somebody doesn't...
Well, they made me want to jump off the tallest building on the planet.
Okay, be careful with saying things like that, because that triggers 5150s and saying I want to jump off.
I said that's why I got in my position, because I said if I don't see my kid, if he's not on that airplane, then I'm going to jump off a bridge or something.
Right.
And then I got Marchman acted in Florida, which means you have to do 90 days or something. And I said, have you ever seen my movies? I jump off of so many bridges into bushes and pools, you fucking idiots. I didn't mean I was going to kill myself.
Right.
So I did Madero Beach on the west side, and I made it 75 days. I had 15 days left. And they're like, Bam, you've been rocking the same sweatpants for 75 days. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to get any fucking pussy around here. I don't give a shit. And they're like, well, you're getting kicked out for bad hygiene. I'm like, oh my God. So I get to another place in Ocala National Forest. So I'm like, so this is day 76. They're like, oh no, you're starting at square one. I'm like, motherfucker. So I make it to day 80 there, and I smoke a cigarette and I throw it out, and it's smoking in a bush, and they film it. They're like, you could have lit the whole national forest on fire. You're getting sent to West Palm Beach. I'm like, motherfucker. Now I know I'm getting back to square one. That's why I've been doing this shit for a year.
So now it finally ended. Now,
yes, but now I have to just do outpatient treatment in Florida till July 17th. Then I'm going to move to Southern California and just do IOP, which is just classes 3 days a week. I was just getting treatment for my alcohol and bipolar, and I just did more time than I was supposed to, just from getting kicked out for dumb reasons. But
I'm wondering, is that legit? I don't know. I do hear about rehab centers doing shifty stuff to send you to another rehab center, but if you wear the same sweatpants,
I don't know.
They would be like, no, sorry, you're starting all over again.
I don't know.
You flip a cigarette into a bush, you're starting all over again.
I mean, I never want to say that somebody is being deceptive, but we don't know what went down.
These are celebrities.
Right.
These are relationships that got so much history. We're not going to fucking know.
But it is fun to listen to Steve-O, who has evolved and is in a place of sobriety and been there for quite a good minute now.
Yeah.
Trying to help Bam, because I think if Bam should aspire to be Steve-O, get there, because Steve-O's done
Steve-O's
the work.
legit. Yeah, Steve-O's been for a while.
And Steve-O has put his life back together and still managed to be a crazy fucktard,
Yeah.
but not lose his life. That's the difference. You can still be a maniac and not have to implode.
Here's the last little bit of Bam with Steve-O.
I had to go a year without seeing Phoenix, and the age of 4 is such a fun age, and I missed it all, and I just feel like I've so much lost time to make up for, and I just want to play with them and teach them everything I know and just make up for the fucking year that I missed. And I don't want to spend any time wasting time at any bars or anything anymore. I've done that far too long. Don't need it anymore. Yeah. I got to say, man, you were always stuck by my side throughout all of this, and I got to thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anytime I was really down in the dumpster having a rough patch, you were always there to be by my side, and I can't thank you enough.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, it's tough. I know he really wants to be in his son's life, and so that gives you the motivation. So I'm definitely rooting Bam on. So
Definitely.
I know it's not easy what he's going through.
I root for all those guys. I just think that they are just the funniest group, and they really are sick and twisted like me, and I just relate. I just love it.
Yeah, Grant had said some people die addicts and never get out of it. And in that podcast, I didn't include it with the clips that I had there, but one thing that Steve-O shared, I guess only 5% of people who ever go into rehab ever wind up dying sober, that they make it all the way through. Years and years. I guess there's like a 95% failure rate.
Wow.
I mean, if that stat's legit, and I do know the 3 years that my wife was in it, there were so many people that were just back in. I was like, how can you just not just realize it's messing up everything you want in life, and they can't do it for some reason? It's really fascinating, and it's sad.
It is sad.
But that's a stunning number if that's legit.
I'm glad that they're talking. It sounds like they talked maybe the beginning of July or maybe even June.
Yeah, probably, because if he was citing, I'm going to be out here in the middle of July, and I don't know if Bam's still in town. I think he's hopefully, done what he needs to do, and he's been able to move on.
Hopefully he's back with his kid, because obviously that was a big motivator for him to not be around his son.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
No doubt.
If it's the kid that's keeping him clean, then that's awesome.
Yeah, so hopefully that is. So rooting him on. So I know a lot of people here, especially because people kept seeing Bam and he was so visible in the community that people were wanting to know. And everybody that I talked to that had any kind of interaction with him said he's a really awesome dude. He's a very nice guy. Always great with everybody and would take photos.
Seems like he loves the fans and really appreciates it.
Yeah, so he definitely legit was that guy. Let me see here. Other stuff that we got today. Do have some of your emails. Probably get to some of those tomorrow. You can send those in to us, mail@kvjshow.com, and we'll get those back on. Make sure you're downloading that app. We got a whole bunch of stuff that we're giving away. The restaurant month stuff is in there, so if you go and listen for a certain amount of time, you can pick up $50 to a lot of great restaurants in Palm Beach County. I saw we had a stay at the Marriott Harbor Beach Resort and Spa.
Ooh.
Yes, that you can go and get that. They got a private beach and an 8,000 square foot tropical lagoon pool.
It is beautiful.
Lagoon's a good
Yeah.
word.
So if you're listening to the After the Show on another app, you can download the WRMF app and you can check it out there absolutely for free. Listen and rack up points for some great stuff when you stream us live. All right, you guys have a great Monday. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.